Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're going to do a bit of a holster roundup today, and everything you're going to see in this video are holsters that I have purchased and used personally. All have been purchased with my own money. I have no affiliation with any of these companies, either gun manufacturers or holster manufacturers. So this will be purely my preference as I go through this, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I've used in my holster journey with each firearm. So the first one we're going to go through, we're actually going to start really small, and we're going to talk about the Bodyguard 380. This specific one has the laser. So this one has been somewhat of a pocket pistol for me. And I've gone through a few iterations, but I found one that is my go-to with that specific firearm. What I'll talk about first is this one. I do have a holster, an ankle holster. This one's by DeSantis. It works pretty well for those scenarios where you may want to have a ankle holster. So I have no gripes about this one. I get no rubbing or irritation based off of this holster. So it's been a pretty good one. That is not the holster I use most often for this firearm. What I do use is a holster by Kusiak Leathers, and I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. So once again, I have no affiliation with these companies, so I would probably pronounce it the same as any of you would if you saw it online. This specific one has a mag holster built on, and actually has you could tell it's been used. It has a form fitting to my body, which has actually become fantastic. And this is my go-to holster for this specific firearm. So you get your Bodyguard 380 with a mag holster attached to in a very small package. I do wear this appendix carry, and that has been a fantastic. Once you put that on, you don't even realize that it's there. So that's the Bodyguard 380, and that's once I got that holster, it was kind of game over. There really wasn't another holster that I needed after that one. Now the ankle holster will come out on occasion. So keeping with our trend of smallest to largest, we're going to move on to a Glock 43. For the 43, I went through a little bit more of a journey with holsters for that specific firearm. And so I'm going to kind of move. You're going to see a number of holsters come into frame here, because I'm going to talk to you about where I started and where I ended. And you'll also notice some magazine holsters in the mix here as well, because I do tend to use this for competition in some cases, more for training than anything though. So starting out from there, I am a huge fan of Comp-Tac holsters. You'll see a number of them throughout this journey. I did go with the what do they call this one? This one is the Infidel holster, and this one's really nice. It's not I would not recommend it for appendix carry, but if you want to do a side carry, this one does work pretty well. It's a little bulky for my taste for inside the waistband, so I don't use this one very often. I then went to Tier 1 concealed. So that's an appendix carry holster. Actually, I do like this one quite a bit. I know quite a few folks have talked about this one, and it is pretty well thought of. So this holster actually sits on the appendix carry position. It does have quite a bit of flex in it, and I like the blue. So that's a specific holder. I will use that one semi-often. My journey kind of led me to less is more. So what I ended up doing is, due to my enjoyment of the Kusiak holster for my Bodyguard 380, I did go and buy a holster from them again. This is the Signature series from Kusiak Leathers. The leather has a little bit of a different consistency to it versus that of the Bodyguard. It's a little thinner, so it's a little bit, it's almost where the Bodyguard 380 feels more like leather. This one from Kusiak feels a little closer. It's almost like a in-between Kydex and leather. I'm not sure exactly what they do to that to make it feel that way. It does make up, though, a very thin but comfortable. So it's almost the best of both worlds, where you get the feel of leather, the flexibility of leather, but the thinness of Kydex. And that has also become my go-to for my Glock 43 in most cases. Probably follow it up by the Tier 1 concealed, but if I had to say which one is going to go out with me more, it'll be the Kusiak Leathers for the Glock 43. Now let's talk a little bit about magazines. I've got a few here for magazine holsters. One of which is, I don't really use this very much. This one I bought, I think this is, I think it was actually sold by Comp-Tac, and it's Minotaur holsters is what it says on there. They also use that, I think, for some of their leather work. The Infidel also has Minotaur leathers on the leather. I don't know if they still do that, but I don't use that. That one doesn't get a lot of use. You'll see some creases in it, so it has been used. But then I do have a Kydex maggot holster from Comp-Tac as well. That's would only be on my belt if I'm doing an IDPA competition or something of that nature, some type of run and gun, needing to do quick reloads or something of that nature. So this is works pretty well. So if you're doing some type of competition or competitive shooting with a Glock 43 for whatever reason, that is a good choice for you. And that's it for the Glock 43. I will move on to the next size up, which is almost as large as the last one on our list, and that is the Glock 45. We'll be talking a little bit more about each of these firearms. The Glock 45 is my preferred home defense pistol. So this one, you'll see the Streamlight on it, the TLR 7A, as well as a threaded barrel by Agency Arms. So this one is built and ready for a suppressor as well as a light. So I needed a holster to be able to accommodate all of that. I do like paddle holsters, and so that's what I went with for here. This one is also by Comp-Tac. This one is, I think they call this one the dual concealment holster is what this one is. And the beauty of this one is it is built for a Glock 45 running a Streamlight TLR 7A, and bonus, it can accommodate a threaded barrel. So you'll see that it sticks out a little bit, but you will notice that the threaded barrel has no issues with this holster, so you can run that with your light. And the Glock 45, there weren't too many holsters out there to accommodate a light. So since it is much newer than the rest of the Glock lineup for the most part. So once this one came out, I jumped on it, and I have zero complaints about this holster. So if you are running a Glock 45 or a Glock 19, so this one will support it as well, and you're using a Streamlight on it with a threaded barrel, this is a very good choice. Also, if you are doing that for competition, Comp-Tac is a fantastic choice as well. So we will move on. And what you'll see here is a Glock 17. So this is actually a Gen 1 Glock 17. This is what I have shot IDPA with several times. And I've got two primary holster, one of which I do not like. This one is a Blackhawk model 2100270. This one is a paddle holster. It's probably the first one I bought for this. I'm not a fan. I stopped using this long ago. Actually, I need to get rid of it. But it does have some retention on there, which I also don't like. So retention, anything that causes me to push down near the trigger as I'm pulling it out, I'm not a huge fan of. Even though the finger length is a little higher than the trigger, I'm just not a huge fan, and I really have no need for retention. So this one is out for me. I no longer use that one. I used it for competition maybe once, and then I moved on. And what I moved on to is a Comp-Tac holster. Again, this one's for the Glock 17, also fits the 22 and 23. It's a paddle holster, and this is, if I'm going to be shooting IDPA with my Glock 17, this is going to be the one that I use for that. Similar to that, I do utilize a Blackhawk magazine holster for competition, and that does work pretty well. That one's model 2100182, and that one has been just fine, no issues at all. Latches onto your belt, easy to put on, easy to take out. You can adjust the pressure retention on it to get to just the right feel for you as you run that. Now, another one that I do use is, this one isn't dedicated to a specific firearm. I do have the Undertek belly belt. So this one is useful for those summer days where you're using a either basketball shorts or cargo shorts, or you don't have a belt on you. This one is helpful, and this will fit a variety of firearms. You can put the 380 in here. You can put the 43 in here. I've never tried it, but we'll see if it'll fit a. We'll see if it'll accommodate a Glock 17 Gen 1. And sure enough, it will. That's probably larger than I'm ever going to carry when I'm wearing basketball shorts. But the glory of that is you can also use it with something as small as a Bodyguard 380, which will allow you to carry that 380. It does have the little retention stretchy elastic there, so you can make sure that that's not going to go anywhere. And that has been pretty good. The one thing I will say is, you need to have, this is something I learned, is you really need to have a t-shirt tucked in underneath this. This will irritate your skin over time, especially if you're moving. If you're out on a walk, or maybe you're even out on a run, or whatever it is you're doing. This one works really well, but you're gonna wanna have some t-shirt material in between your skin and this holster, as it will cause you some irritation over time. It's not very comfortable, but put a t-shirt under it, tuck it in, put this over that, and you are good to go. No big deal there. So those are the holsters that I wanted to go through today. We may go through those a little bit more detail in other videos, but hopefully this was helpful for you as you try to determine what holsters you may want to use for your specific firearms. If you have any questions, if you use any of these holsters, or if you have comments around any of these, please leave a comment down below, and we'll have a discussion on how you guys have used these holsters or your experience with them. Also, like and subscribe if you like the content, and if you'd like more like this, or if there's specific holsters you'd like to hear more about, please don't hesitate to ask. All right, thank you very much. Enjoy.